George R. R. Martin did another blog update on his Not a blog, and this includes 𝐻𝐻𝐻 Winter Update, House of the Dragon Season 2, 3, and beyond, and the Game of Thrones play. So let's talk George. George has been a busy boy, mostly catching up on the 1,000 emails, but also his million other projects. Seriously, I don't know how this man is always that busy. First, George traveled to London to talk about the Game of Thrones play he has been working on, so this is what he wrote. I'm gonna do my George voice.
And since we are talking theater, one of the meetings I had in London was with Dominic and Duncan, the director and show writer of our own stage play, the one we've been working on for the past few years. Originally, we were calling it Harrenhal, but we have now settled on the Iron Throne as a title, until we think of something better. Regardless, things are coming well, I think, and we are hopeful of being able to open in late 2024. Maybe, but you never know. There's a lot of work to be done.
Okay, late 2024 seems to be super crazy early, and I'm thankful that besides London, they're going to debut it in Australia and also New York City. New York is a way easier flight, at least for me, than London or Australia. I'm assuming for most North American people as well. Harrenhal was a little on the nose, but kind of, I still think, better than the title, The Iron Throne. I mean, I get it, it's about the tourney at Harrenhal where Rhaegar gives Lyanna a crown of blue roses and declares her the queen of love and beauty instead of his wife. So it just, I don't know, Harrenhal worked a lot better than the Iron Throne. I'm really hoping they change it, but for marketing, I think that's why they're going with the Iron Throne as of right now. George also met with his British publishers to talk about A Song of Ice and Fire and The Winds of Winter. I want to say this makes me hopeful, but George recently did a page number update on Winds, and it was pretty much the same as last year, so him meeting with his publishers was probably just his publishers going, hey, we really like money. Could you release Winds already? And then George giving them some BS deadline that will never come, or he'll never make. So if you want to take some hope from him meeting with his publishers, I guess you can go ahead, but George has met with his publishers plenty of times the past few years, and nothing has really come of it with moving up the deadline or anything. Or they have had a deadline and then George just doesn't do it. Next, he talked about House of the Dragon and how impressive the set and first 2 episodes are, so I want to read what he wrote on that.
And of course, I also spent 3 days with House of the Dragon, starting with a visit to the studio where Hot D is being shot. All I have to say about that is, oh my god, I am no stranger to film sets. I have worked off and on in television and film since 1986, where I joined the staff of the Twilight Zone revival at CBS. I still recall the rush where I saw them building Stonehenge on the soundstage behind my office for an episode I'd written. And of course I visited the Game of Thrones shoots in Belfast, Scotland, Morocco, and Malta. Those were incredible too, but nothing I've ever seen can compare with the Red Keep and Dragonstone sets they have built at the Leavesden studio in London. Huge, stunning, and so damned real that I felt as if I had gone through a time portal to medieval Westeros. I love castles, and have visited dozens of actual medieval castles, keeps, and towers in my time, and none of the real castles I've ever seen can hold a candle or a torch to our Red Keep. I've heard nothing but praise from the actors about the sets for House of the Dragon, so this is just fantastic to have further confirmation. The main show started to become a mess of green screen, and it got super obnoxious, especially when they started making everything super dark to hide their corner cutting. And if you've seen any of the leaks for filming, you know the sets are just absolutely ridiculous. But continuing on to George talking about the first 2 episodes of season 2 and how dark and amazing they are, he wrote, the highlight of the trip, though, had to be the sneak peek preview that Ryan gave me of the first 2 episodes of House of the Dragon, Season 2. Rough cuts, of course. Of course, I am hardly objective when talking about anything based on my own work, but I have to say, I thought both episodes were just great, and they are not even finished yet. Dark, mind you. Very dark. They may make you cry. I did not cry myself, but one of my friends did. Powerful, emotional, gut-wrenching, heart-rending. Just the sort of thing I like.
If you have followed the leaks, again, you know why the first 2 episodes will be dark. I'm not going to spoil it here, but I imagine quite a few people are going to cry over the first 2 episodes. Honestly, the entire season is going to be a tear fest. I'm not ready for the end of season 2 because I know my heart is just going to get destroyed. But I don't want you to worry about the ending of season 2 because George also said they're working on seasons 3 and 4 of House of the Dragon. So he wrote on that.
It was not all tromping through sets, though. I also spent 2 days locked in a room with Ryan Condal and his writing staff, talking about the 3rd and 4th seasons of House of the Dragon. They were lively, fun discussions, and we got some good work done, though 2 days was not nearly enough. There is so much ground to cover that I am not sure 20 days would have been enough.
I am very thankful, despite a lot of people being angry he isn't focusing on Winds of Winter nonstop, that he has a hand in this. House of the Dragon is pretty safe with Ryan Condal, who is a huge book lore nerd. Seriously, he went to bat against other people at HBO when they tried to dumb things down for season 1, and he was like, no. Fans will kill you if you do this. But even with Ryan Condal being in charge, it's nice to have George check up on him and the other writers, just to make sure everything's going smoothly and in the right direction. Now, I still think we could get up to 5 seasons, but another 2 is plenty to tell the story. The war was only from 129 AC to 131 AC and doesn't quite have the complexity of the main series.
Certainly not the pages of lore, oh my gosh.
I'm still interested to see after they cover the Dance of the Dragons if those at HBO were serious about continuing House of the Dragon but covering different monarchs. I think that would be an amazing way to go. I think also with the success of House of the Dragon, they probably won't take a lot of convincing. Okay, so that is your George update. Here's crossing our fingers that we get even more George updates that are positive.